Week 4 is behind us. Let's turn our attention to Week 5. And I'm just going to get it out of the way. My voice is obliterated. I sound disgusting. I got married over the weekend, so bear with me. Let's get through this video. Move number 1. We are going out and we are adding Joe Flacco. He's going to be great for fantasy. This is just what we expect of Joe Flacco at this point when he gets these spot starts. Anthony Richardson left with a hip injury. He actually came back into the game, and then the very first play he came back, they called a designed QB run, and he got injured again. Incredibly stupid coaching just on varying levels. But now Joe Flacco enters, and he looked good right away. I mean, Joe Flacco did exactly what we saw last year in a small sample with the Browns. Joe Flacco came in, 2 touchdowns, 19 points. Last year, like I said, he was great in a really small sample. He started 5 games. He was a top 10 quarterback 4 times, and his worst finish was QB 13. I feel much better about Joe Flacco than I did about Malik Willis, Skylar Thompson. If Taylor Heineke had gotten the start and they actually rested Justin Herbert, Joe Flacco was going to be a startable quarterback every single week that he is, a starting quarterback. This honestly, I think, also helps the rest of the offense. It helps Michael Pittman. I mean, he puts up his highest stat line of the season, putting up over 17 points. It helps Josh Downs, who put up 22 points with Joe Flacco. This is all around going to be good for the pass catchers. And when you add in the fact that Jonathan Taylor also left with a high ankle sprain, you may be seeing a lot more passing out of this offense instead of them leaning on potentially Trey Sermon moving forward. And we'll add in like a minor 1B, add Trey Sermon. He's not widely available. We've talked about him the last couple of weeks, but he needs to be rostered as well now. Move number 2, we are selling Kareem Hunt. Congrats on adding Kareem Hunt if you took the leap of faith. That's great. He looks to be the starter. Carson Steele fumbled, essentially got benched, and then it was the Kareem Hunt with like a sprinkle or a mix of Samaje Perine. I'm not keeping Kareem Hunt on my roster. As a contender, obviously as a rebuilder, that's easy, but as a contender, I don't want Kareem Hunt. I think you can probably trade him for a second round pick. Maybe not this week, but next. Or, a third in 2024, multiple thirds, whatever it is. People are going to be desperate for starting running backs as the season goes on. And he was fine this week, but this offense is not going to run through Kareem Hunt. They also lost Rashee Rice, so you're going to lose some explosion in the pass game as well. Scoring-wise, I think this offense, it's not trending in the correct direction, even with Mahomes, and we'll talk about him in a second here. Basically, if I have Kareem Hunt in any format, in any stage of contention, I am selling Kareem Hunt for picks, because this is how you win in Dynasty long-term. You turn these rental players that really aren't all that valuable into draft picks that can be used to either hopefully draft another star or even, flip them into another better player in a different package. Move number 3. We mentioned Mahomes. I'm going to shop Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying you have to sell. I'm not saying you have to get out now. Because look, he's Patrick Mahomes. The name value itself he carries is astronomical. A lot of people will widely consider him the Dynasty QB1 over somebody like Josh Allen or Lamar. But at some point, the production has to match the name value. And right now, it's not. But if we really look back, the last year and a half or so, Patrick Mahomes has not been a good fantasy quarterback. The last time Mahomes finished with 20-plus points in back-to-back weeks, week 2 and 3 of 2023. The last time Patrick Mahomes finished as a QB1, top 12 in back-to-back weeks, week 6 and 7 of 2023. Mahomes has not been the player we anticipate him to be, a guy that is on track to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I don't trust Mahomes as a key piece of a contending roster right now. I think you can flip him. You're not going to be able to flip him for Josh Allen, but if you can flip him for Lamar and picks, I think that's a fine deal. The only way I'm moving him is for a quarterback that I know is going to be a starter for the next 3 to 4 years, and if I am getting a ton of draft capital back. Lamar is probably the peak, right? That's the best player you can flip him for and get like minimal picks back. But if you want to go further down the list, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott. Look, those are 2 players that may not be the most exciting or, maybe carry a little bit of risk, but they're outproducing Mahomes. And you can get a lot of draft capital back with both of those. I would take them and a first and a second, them and 2 firsts if you can swing it even, and they might legitimately give you similar, if not better, production than Mahomes this year and help you build a more complete roster long term. If you don't want to trade Mahomes, that's fine too. You do not have to. This is just something to think about. If you are rostering him and thinking, Mahomes isn't getting it done, it feels like that. It's because he's actually not getting it done and hasn't been for a while for fantasy. Move number 4. We are buying low on DJ Moore. Now, look, DJ Moore has not been good to start the year. He finally scores his first touchdown in week 4. That's nice to see. But DJ Moore has been a wide receiver 3. But the reason I'm going to buy low on DJ Moore is, 1, it's DJ Moore. He has been a very productive fantasy wide receiver for a very long time. And he's only 27. But also the usage is there. A 24% target share with a 17.5 expected points per game heading into week 4. He should be producing more. He's not. DJ Moore is a guy I'm going to go after on contenders. If you're rebuilding, it's a fine line because he's sort of entering the back half. He's going to be an asset that loses value moving forward. So maybe it's not worth it there. But as a contender, absolutely. And if you lost somebody like Puka or Rashee Rice or any of these other players, DJ Moore is, I think, a cheaper option to get some of that production back. And he's not going to cost you an arm and a leg because the production hasn't been there this year. So DJ Moore is an interesting guy to go and at least try to buy. You probably got to give up a late first, and that's fine. I said that's all it costs. I think that's a huge win. And move number 5. Now that we have 4 weeks of data, let's actually start to adjust our Dynasty rankings. I'll just do a couple really quick hits on a few guys that I think are rising and falling just at the wide receiver position to give you guys a sense of who should be shifting, who should be rising, falling, etc. Number 1, Nico Collins. Look, he's a tier 1 wide receiver. He is up there with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson. I want to say maybe Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase kind of is maybe falling a little. But Nico Collins has solidified himself as a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. The dude is just all world, a true alpha. Every metric, the production, all of it points to him just being a star. Malik Neighbors is trending in that exact same direction. A guy that was widely considered top 15 at his floor coming into the league from a dynasty perspective. Looks to be pushing with the usage and the production with Daniel Jones of all people. Looks to be pushing as a top 5 wide receiver as well. He just belongs up there. And a little bit further down, Brian Thomas. Depending where you looked in rankings, he was top 30 coming out of the draft. Some people had him top 24. I think he has a case right now for top 20, top 18. The physical tools are there. They're showing up in different ways because Trevor Lawrence hasn't been great. But coming out of week 4, Brian Thomas looked spectacular. I think when it's all said and done at the end of this season, he's going to be a guy that's looking like a top 12 wide receiver. You can't put him there yet, but the early returns are great. And I am more than excited to see what he does with Trevor Lawrence over the next 3 to 4 seasons here. On the flip side, we have people that are underperforming more dramatically than I think a lot of us anticipated. Garrett Wilson is the first one that comes to mind. A guy that people were saying, top 6, top 7 coming into the season. The peripherals are there, but the production is still not there, even with Aaron Rodgers. And he's had a tough go of it against very good wide receivers in Christian Gonzalez, L'Jarius Sneed, Patrick Surtain. All of these other things are kind of keeping him down. But through a month, he's maybe not a top 12 wide receiver in Dynasty right now. Again, the peripherals is what makes this really difficult, but the production at some point has to marry up with that ranking. So he is not a top 7 guy. It can't be anywhere near what he was preseason. And Tyreek Hill, while this maybe isn't really his fault, he was kind of that last older wide receiver that people were saying, still top 10. The production's insane. But without Tua for an extended period of time, Tyreek Hill has to drop in Dynasty rankings because current value or immediate production is more important for Tyreek Hill than it is for a lot of other players because of the age. So for me, he's outside of my top 12. He's probably closer to 15, 16, given that you're going to lose half a season, which is bad quarterback play. And the last one is Brandon Ayuk. He was a fringe top 12 guy. Right now, I think he's inside the top 20, but doesn't belong up in that top tier. Only a 20% target share. He hasn't top 10 points. A lot of it has to do with missing training camp and OTAs and everything else with the holdout. But look, this is the production. The peripherals are bad. He is falling in an offense that is underwhelming a little bit without CMC this year.